primary improvements that are slated to be made in this phase is new playground, splash pad, restroom facility, and picnic shelter. So if, let me see if I have internet here. I can talk through the map. Looks like I'm going to have internet. Okay, good. A little slow, but essentially those four components. The splash pad and playground equipment, those are what I would call really specialized components. Splash pads are proprietary designs and design build companies. There's a handful in the United States that can do that. Playground equipment is really there's manufacturers out there. You look through a catalog and choose the things you want. Then you have restroom facility and a shelter house. Those are what I would call vertical contractors, people doing prepackaged types of work. So all that being the case, we have three different types of construction to go on, and that's in addition to grading. We thought, what's the best way to get interest and a good bid on this? And we thought rather than just putting it out there on the street and see what general contractor would get bid on it, well, because these are specialized types of work, the city would be best suited to have a choice in who their contractor is. Interview the most qualified, and then choose a contractor to negotiate a guaranteed maximum bid based on your budget available. So we're taking the approach of a CMR, Construction Manager at Risk, and what that means is we're preparing some contract documents. They're out there for contractors to look at now, and contractors are going to turn in their insurance, credentials. Hey, we're insured and bonded. And by the way, here's the experience we have doing this type of work based on the team that we've built. So we're going to get those qualifications in. Terry's going to review them, get some input to select the most qualified contractor. And then we're going to work hand in hand to select equipment, select types of buildings, get a splash pad contractor in there. And that contractor, construction manager at risk, is ultimately responsible for making sure you guys get everything you want within the budget that they're allowed. So rather than us designing everything up front in a black box and say, someone build this the way we did it, we're going to get their ideas. I'm not a splash pad designer. Playground equipment is something you get out of a catalog. So it's a collaborative effort. I think it's a great way to go for this particular type of project, and that's the way that we're moving forward with it. The RFQ is out right now. We expect to get bids in a couple, or I'm sorry, not bids. We expect to get qualifications in the next couple weeks, and then we'll go through the process of making a selection. Terry, with the budget that's allowed to him, is going to say, here's how much we got, guys. What can you fit into that budget? And we'll kind of do our wish list and go from there. The reason I brought up the map, just to remind everyone, all of this work is going to go on between Brokaw and Picnic Avenue. It's all in this area is where this phase of the project is going to take place.
And remind me, unlike a bid, we can start construction with a civil site plan immediately, but we're still doing.
That's right. The other big driver for this, in addition to being collaborative and giving kind of the best value, is we're going to start construction right away. We don't have to wait for everything to be, done as far as every single component to the end and design. As soon as the contractor's on board, we've got a grading plan. Go ahead and start getting it graded, guys. And while we're figuring out the splash pad design within the confines of this footprint, you guys can go ahead and start on the picnic shelter. So it is our intent to have this project completely built by the end of the year. So it may not be final complete. Obviously, no one's doing a splash pad for New Year's, but it'll be substantially complete such that next season, I think that we'll have grass established, the project is final complete, the punch list is done, and this part of the project's going to be done. So we're moving forward with it as expeditiously as possible. We know it's important. So
when will people see dirt moving down there?
I suspect that you see dirt moving by August anyway. Well, the city's already gonna be moving dirt before that, so.
Well, we haven't moved anything yet, we could. Our initial plan was, prior to awarding the contract to the contractor, was to do some demolition with the tennis courts and basketball court, take some fencing down. I recently got a call from Joanne Pinkerton, county engineer's sister. She's the CEO of CODA, actually, and I don't know if she has a child who's at Circleville High School, but she asked if we would consider not demolishing the courts, because Circleville High School plans to renovate their tennis courts this summer over the break. And the students could practice at Ted Lewis Park, even though it's not the best condition, but that would be, something that I thought would be a good idea. We could let them do that to the last possible moment. So we'll likely recycle the steel, the fencing and that kind of thing, and our service department, Dan and his crew, will do demolition. And then as soon as we're ready to go with the contractor, we'll start bringing in fill, doing the mounting, install the underground utilities. Landscaping is a big part of it. Concrete walks are a part of it. There are a lot of things we can do now. And furthermore, I've recently met a couple of times with Jan Shannon at PCC, Pickwick County Community Foundation. And we plan to soon install a wheelchair swing at Mary Regina Crescent Park at the PCCF with their monies, a donation. And we're also exploring in the playground area a zip line for a broad spectrum of users at their cost as well. They've also agreed to assist us, the city, with the choice of splash pad and playground equipment to make sure that we have equipment that represents the needs of everybody and make good choices with that. So this won't be a unilateral decision on what splash pad, what playground equipment we get. We'll make sure that you all are participants, Sherry's committee, of course, and some of these others. Jan also indicated there may very well be opportunities for additional funding from the PCCF for Ted Lewis Park playground.
Naming rights, maybe, huh?
Didn't ask for that.
I mean, we should probably pursue that ourselves.
Oh, certainly, of course, yeah.
Where are we with the skate park?
Oh, it's not in the 2015 plan, so I'm nowhere with it for Ted Lewis Park.
It had been discussed and so on, we've got some active individuals that talked about that.
We have a concept plan for the beginning of the annex at Martha's Park, of course, and whether or not to make it kind of a separate component or to integrate the two remains to be seen. Sherry's holding a meeting soon, and we'll talk about that. Perhaps a smaller park like Smith Park might be an area for some kind of skateboard, but as far as Ted Lewis, the only request I've had, and I've sent it out to a few people just for a comment, is there seems to be some expanded interest in pickleball, so maybe we can find a spot for that in one of our 5 parks.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Chris, is there any, I know that there's a lot of fill going in to the project or the Ted Lewis Park. Is there projects that we're losing dirt that we could possibly be dumping down there to bring the grade up?
Not that I'm aware of, and not the projects with which I've been involved. The street reconstructions, utility projects, whatever's coming out, it's going back in. If it's coming out and not going back in because it's unsuitable for fill, you don't want it out
Probably
there.
can't use it down there.
I provided Terry with the name of the project in South Bloomfield. I'm not sure that may be too far to drag dirt. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, so.
The civil site plan calls for 6,000 yards of fill mounting in this Ted Lewis Park improvement. What we have is high quality topsoil at the park now. We'd like to use in other areas around the city where we have needs, and that's not 6,000 yards available for that. So
Now, and apart from this, we'll probably be moving some dirt too. Be nice to work it a little bit. Not buy it.
Terry, I know at one point, Hampton Inn had offered us some fill dirt, was that able to be used?
where's that now?
The Hampton Inn, when they put that in?
We picked that up. We
We
got
did,
it.
okay, good.
That's at Ted Lewis Park behind the fence by where the old point used to be.
Okay,
Truckloads
excellent.
is, how many yards of dirt, how many truckloads did you say that is?
How many yards on the truck?
If I look at,
I'm thinking about,
10-yard truck,
Yeah.
dump, yeah.
I-
600 truckloads now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Streets are in for a beat down, aren't they?
Yeah.
Down in that area, so, yeah, people are gonna be using court to get there, but I'm not as concerned about court as those side streets down there, the ones that broke all, the alley, the Picnic Avenue. We fully anticipate those are gonna need to be replaced in following the project. So that would be the last thing we do, for new construction.
So they need sidewalks.
I think there's a pathway going around that too, and,
There's walkways, there's significant landscaping, we're putting in lighting, appropriate lighting that's screened from, residential neighborhoods, we're putting in security cameras and other security devices. So this will be a very comprehensive, parking.
does anybody else have any